So, you want to work in tech. Maybe you've dreamed of working at one of the big tech companies like Apple or Google and climbing your way up the corporate ladder. Or maybe you have the fire and work ethic to plunge into an early stage startup with 80-hour work weeks, but the potential for huge equity payouts if the idea goes big. Whatever your reason, you are interested in the tech industry, but you don't know where to start. What are the different career paths in tech, and how do you even get started in the industry? In this series, I will be teaching you about how to get into tech, the many different career paths, the pros and cons of each, and help you find your fit within this incredible industry. A quick note about myself. I've spent my entire career so far working in tech. I'm in my mid-20s, have worked at both a small startup and large company, and have lived in San Francisco and Silicon Valley. I have worked in a couple different tech careers, have extensive experience interviewing with tech companies, and have helped several of my friends from college discover and land careers in tech. So, what are the pros and cons overall? Tech is an incredible industry to work in for many reasons. The industry includes huge names such as the Big Five, dozens of billion-dollar unicorns, and thousands upon thousands of startups who could become the next big thing. The jobs and work are on the cutting edge of technology. You'll meet some of the most intelligent and accomplished people in the world, and the financial benefits for you, the employee, are second to none. Tech workers command some of the highest salaries in the world, have arguably the best benefits of any industry, and offer prized stock options. Think full healthcare coverage, dental and vision too, free lunches, gym memberships, commuter stipends, volunteering days, dog-friendly offices, and restricted stock units in some of the most valuable companies in history, all while making a six-figure salary. It's pretty incredible. Tech isn't all perfect though, and there are downsides. Tech is highly competitive, especially at places whose name you know. Getting a tech job is much harder, on average, than even getting into some prestigious schools. Once you land a job, the work can be intense. Some jobs and companies regularly run 70 to 80-hour work weeks. I've even been there myself. And lastly, the major career tracks just aren't for everyone. But don't let this discourage you. There are many varied paths into tech, all with their own pros, cons, and routes in. As we go through the episodes, feel free to leave comments on which profession you would like to see in the next episode. I have a rough schedule planned out, but am open to shifting episodes around based on demand. Now, before we dive into specific professions, I'm going to touch on a few general considerations that apply to most careers in tech. First is education. The honest truth is that since tech is so highly competitive, having a college degree, especially one from a prestigious university, is a way to differentiate your application, especially for entry-level roles. This is by no means a hard set rule. I don't have a prestigious university on my resume and was able to land multiple offers in the industry. But there are companies and sub-industries that do prize education heavily, and it's something for you to consider when applying. 4-year degree requirements are fading in different professions and industry-wide. Tech is likely to be the first industry to largely pivot away from traditional education requirements in the post-corona era. Alternative options such as the newly released Google Career Certificates are a great alternative to college for certain professions, and I could definitely see a future where a certification from a big tech firm is more valuable than a college degree in terms of getting a tech job. But for now, in 2021, education can still be a barrier to entry at some places, so it's something to be aware of. I will touch on the specifics of education requirements in each profession's video, as they can be highly variable. Second is location, and nowadays in office versus remote. Location can be a large factor in determining which companies you work at. The largest tech companies today are headquartered in Silicon Valley and the Seattle area. They employ tens of thousands of workers in these cities. Other large cities like LA, Chicago, New York, and Boston also have huge tech industries. All of these cities are what I would call top-tier cities. You get the biggest amount of opportunity in these places and also the biggest rent bills each month. The networking opportunities, salaries, and just overall variety of companies to work for are unmatched here. But life in these big cities is definitely not for everyone. If you still want to work in tech, but don't like the big city lifestyle, want cheaper rent, or simply prefer medium-sized cities, there are opportunities for you. Portland, Reno, Las Vegas, Phoenix, anything in Texas, Minneapolis, Nashville, Charlotte, Raleigh, Washington, D.C., and Miami all have strong or rapidly expanding tech industries and healthy startup ecosystems. Many of the biggest players, such as Amazon and Google, are opening large offices in these cities to tap into their workforce. I'll link a video below that I did on the best cities to live in for 2021 if you're interested in learning more about these medium-sized cities. The last option is the remote worker. You want to live in a small city, be a digital nomad, work from a rural town, or want to write code from the beaches of Rio, remote might be for you. 2020 accelerated the move to remote by at least a decade and made remote work acceptable for many companies. Not every company will be supporting remote work going forward, and you will need to be available during normal business hours, but remote work is a solid option if you want it. Companies like Facebook, Twitter, and Coinbase are actually now remote-first companies who are hiring people from all over the country. With all that in mind, let's get started and help you discover which career in tech will be the best fit for you and how to get there.